Welcome friends to another r/IDontWorkHereLady video. We've got some good stories today, and our first one's from Snoo Hesitations 5728. First contact with Karens and IDontWorkHereLady stuff. Okay, this was my first time in the USA, my first contact with a Karen, and my first contact with this IDontWorkHereLady stuff. I'm a 30-year-old guy traveling with my family to Miami for shopping and stuff. There was a nice mall in front of our hotel, which I believe I can't say the name, but since it's a very famous shopping mall with a marine mammal on its name, let's call it whale shopping. The shopping mall is big and very exciting. It was pretty fun to see different people at the same time and place from all over the world. I went to a clothing store and bought something for me. Suddenly a female customer, let's call her Karen, approached me. Karen says, "Excuse me, do you have it in a larger size?" At first I thought something like, you know what? I want to help this lady. I looked around and found the same shirt in which appeared to be a larger size. I say, "I found this one, take a look." She took it from me and then gave it back. She says, "Okay, I'll buy it." And I say, "Okay," and give it to her back. When she stared back at me, I realized what was going on and said, "Oh, I don't work here, I'm sorry." She took her glasses off and said, "Okay, can you call the manager please?" Again, I know I probably took the wrong decision, but it was my first travel out of my country. I really thought that the best thing to do was to try to help rather than leave. So I went to talk to a guy at the register and told him what was going on. That lady thought I worked here and now she wants to talk to the manager. I just tried to help, I'm sorry. The guy gave me a smile, trying not to laugh, and said, "Wild Karen appears, oh." I got the Pokemon reference from there, but at the time I thought she was a well-known customer named Karen. The guy was going upstairs to find the manager. Since I was so trying to help, I made my last and unforgettable/unforgivable mistake of my life. I called her. I approached her and said, "Miss Karen, the guy in the register was..." She yells, "How dare you? Who do you think you're talking to?" I go pale. I just froze while the entire store was looking. I lifted up my hands the exact way I'd do if I got robbed or if a crazy dog was barking at me. For about 5 minutes, which felt like an hour, she was saying all sorts of things. Slowly, I was approaching the register as if I was a little deer scared by a wolf or a wild boar. She was following me, of course, step by step. I saw the manager approaching as my great white horse knight ready to protect me from that dragon. Karen says, "I demand you fire this lazy employee." Wasn't that word, but okay. The manager took a look at me and I slowly dropped my hands down. The manager said, "Okay, lady, this guy tried to help you from what I'm told, but he doesn't work here." Karen seemed to be satisfied and said, "You Latinos are just lazy, aren't you?" The manager replies, "If you don't back off and leave this store, I'll call the police, and me and this guy," pointing to me, "are going to press charges for racism." Karen left. Man, I was like, what the heck just happened? The guy on the register asked me if I was good and explained to me what a Karen is. It took a long time to realize things like, so because of how I looked, it didn't seem like I'd be a customer too and crap like that. Oh, and the employees realized that I didn't want to leave right away to not risk finding Karen again, so they started to joke about, "First Karen we never forget. There's a Reddit about it here. So you were a Karen virgin, you just lost your Karen virginity." The girl on the register suggested to call her Whale Mall Karen and told me about her experience on Karens. Found a Karen and new friends at the same day. If you had an experience like this traveling to another country, would that sour the whole experience for you? Or would you be able to just forget it and move on and still enjoy your trip? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Our next story is from Sunflower Skies, Easter Karen. I, female, 21, was volunteering at a church on Easter, passing out plastic bags for the egg drop. Just so you know, I was around 11 or 12 at the time this happened. When I was passing out bags, I hear Karen yelling at me. She was yelling, "I have a question, I have a question." When I heard this, I was like, oh heck no, not today. So, as the nice person I am, I turned around giving a friendly smile. She asks me if the kids can go out twice to get eggs. I had no idea because they were trying to keep it fair, so I went to go look for a church worker or minster. She told me that Karen wasn't able to do that because the kids would throw a fit if someone got more eggs than them. When I told Karen this, she started to yell at me saying how she'd been coming to the event for years and how it was stupid that we made it fair for all of the children. I told her it wasn't in my control because I didn't work there. I let her rant on, but I was startled because I was only 11 or 12. What would you think I would do? Honestly, I was waiting for her to ask for the manager. Surprisingly, she just stomped away. Later, we found out that she was smoking around the little kids. And now I refuse to go to that church or any other church. By the way, do you think I was in the wrong? I don't see how OP could be in the wrong at all. They were 11 years old volunteering at a church to hand plastic bags out. Unless OP's just flinging the plastic bags out into the wilderness to litter, I don't think OP probably could have done anything wrong there. I feel for those Karen's kids. Our next story is from CWU007, You Are Not a Customer. I'm a shift supervisor for a retail drugstore chain. On the other side of our parking lot is a casual dining restaurant that's famous for its pies. We'll call them Pie Shop for this story. For a while, Pie Shop was not answering their phones or their phones were down. Several times a day, we'd get calls from people asking if we knew if Pie Shop was open or why Pie Shop wasn't answering their phones. We would say, we don't know, and the customer would understand and hang up. However, one night, that was not the case. I answer the phone one night, and a man on the phone explains that he's been trying to call Pie Shop for the last half hour. He then asks if I could walk over to Pie Shop and if they're open, to please put in his dinner order. I say a polite no, and the man starts whining. The man sounded like he was possibly around 30 or 40 years old. He says, "Why not? I'm hungry." I say I work for drugstore, not Pie Shop. The man says, "I was going to stop at drugstore to buy something. That makes me a customer of drugstore, so you have to help me." I say, if it's something involving drugstore, I'll be glad to help you. This is not. If Pie Shop is not answering their phone, you need to either find a different place to eat or come to Pie Shop yourself. The back and forth banter of him saying he's a customer and me saying no went on for the next 2 minutes. Finally, the guy surrendered, but ended the phone call saying if he goes to bed hungry tonight, the fault's on me. I love the idea of that guy hanging up like, if I go to bed hungry tonight, the fault's on you. Newsflash to that guy, OP doesn't care if you go to bed hungry tonight. You're a random dude calling into a drugstore asking if they could go across the street to a different location for you. They don't know you, they don't care about you. Enjoy your hungry rest. Your failed guilt trip attempt. Just imagine OP hears that and they go, "Oh, you're gonna go to bed hungry tonight? Oh, okay, well, maybe I can go to the Pie Shop for you." It's not gonna happen. This next story is from Misty J Dreamer. Nice small story. This is a small story, and the person in it wasn't in the wrong or anything, but I thought, why not? Let's show this. I went to a hotel once. It had a water park and a pool, as well as an arcade, which is where this takes place. I had gone to the arcade, not thinking of what I was wearing. I didn't even realize I looked a lot like I worked there. I was pretty tall, and you could easily think I'm an adult. I was watching some younger kids play an arcade game which was based on that game where a ball goes into one of 3 cups, and it spun around and you gotta pick the right one. They also got me a bunch of credits from it. And this old lady comes up behind me. I remember her saying, "You have an amazing job." I told her I don't actually work here, I'm actually there to play, but it would be cool working here. I feel like the idea of working in an arcade is kind of nicer than it is actually working there. Like, I'm imagining you might enjoy it for a while, but when you have to go like scrape gum out of the quarter slots or something stupid like that, you realize it's not really worth it. You find out that some kids spilt their Pepsi all over the neon rainbow carpet, but went ahead and finished their game first, so it's nice and sticky by the time you could try to do anything about it. I don't know, maybe I'm just a huge pessimist today. Our next story is from Thunder Plays Games. I got mistaken as a woman when I was working for a client for my at-home business. I have an at-home business of computer and tech repair, and the owner of the dollar store near me asked me to do some work for her. I'm male, 28, and when I was working, a customer came in and asked, "So, is she your new hire?" She meaning me. The owner said no, he is my tech guy. And as soon as he saw/heard that I was a guy, he just about ran out of the store. I've had very long hair due to the fact of the pandemic, and couldn't get a haircut at the time, but it was funny as freak. I'm not mad or anything over it. It gave me a funny story. Back in middle school, at the start of my teenage years, I started to do that rebellious thing where you start growing your hair out long. And I remember in like 7th or 8th grade, I was sitting in the back and we had a substitute teacher who was older, so, their vision's not very good. "Miss, could you come up to the board?" I just sit there silently and do not respond because, I'm not Miss. Everybody starts looking around, realizes the mix-up, and starts like cracking up, and I'm just sitting there like mortified, embarrassed. But it happens. It wasn't the only time I got confused, by the way. By the way, if you're enjoying these stories, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below so you never miss any of my daily videos. They're chock full of great stories like our next one from Swimcheck MLE. Don't smile at people. My 37-year-old female, first I don't work here. I went to a checkmark phone store to get a replacement, and there was no one there except the employee. It was like a miracle. I picked out my phone and got the guy my info, and he was getting me set up. As I'm waiting, an older couple walk in. The lady keeps staring at me, so I said hi. She then proceeds to yell at me that she needs a new Samsung phone. I told her I don't work there. I guess my FU shirt and flip-flops didn't explain that. Her response, "Well, you said hi to me." I'm so sorry to show common courtesy. I'm gonna blame the pandemic. After like 2 years of people trying to be relatively sheltered and distanced, the rise of social media, texting, calling, FaceTiming, I feel like interactions with strangers like this and just small talk and stuff is becoming less common or less expected. Our next story is from Angel Eyes 1998. Yes, a Home Depot, not this Home Depot. So I work at a Home Depot. This day, I didn't want to shop in my store after my shift because I was just done with the day, but needed some paint. I ultimately decided to go to another Home Depot that was in the next town over. I was wearing one of my Home Depot sweatshirts that has my store number on it, but not where the store is located. I had my earbuds in, walking around the store, and at one point I'm stopped by a Karen who immediately starts yelling at me. She'd been waiting for someone to drop a pallet from the overhead and had been waiting for a while. And then I walked past her with my headphones and didn't hear her until she's yelling. She told me that I needed to get the pallet down for her. I explained that unfortunately I don't work in the store. And she then started yelling something along the lines of, "You're useless, give me your manager." One of the store's assistant managers came around the corner and asked what was going on, and Karen told them I wouldn't help her. And the manager looked at me, looked at her, and goes, "Yeah, that's because she doesn't work here. She works in the store that's 20 minutes from here. So her manager's not here, and nope, she cannot drop the pallet." Karen huffed and left the store. The manager and I had a good little chuckle. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to be mean to OP, but would you guys agree with me that if you're working at a store and your shift is over and you start shopping either at that store or an identical store, that it should be almost completely understandable that you get confused for working there? And our final story is from Rapitasm12345. Pick up this dog poop. So to set the scene, I had just finished work, exhaustion threatening to take hold of my body, and me fighting with every fiber of my being to stay conscious enough for the final push of making the drive home. I had just popped into the local supermarket and picked up some cereal and a trifle. I know, an odd combination, but I hope future historians will struggle to find an explanation for it. I was walking towards my car, the light at the end of the tunnel glinting hopefully and signaling an end to my 12-hour workday. I opted to cut down a quick side street since, outside of work, I'm antisocial, and working in retail sucks the enthusiasm to deal with the general public. And then it happened. The Karen Dragon appeared. Little did I know with my sleep-deprived brain that this monstrosity approaching breathed harshly with Karen fire. But alas, I was about to find out firsthand. I sidestepped a dog turd a particularly lazy pet owner had decided to leave, and then the two words every brave retail knight dreads escaped the lips of the banshee harlot that was bearing down on me now. "Excuse me." Unfortunately for me, this particular brand of crazy was unknown, even to me. "Are you going to pick up that dog poop?" she croaked in a raspy voice. I looked down at myself, at my cereal and trifle. Yep, I was most definitely not the designated poo shoveler she presumed me to be. "What?" I asked back, mystified as to how a random stranger she just accosted in the street should be responsible for cleaning up a random poo. "Are you going to pick up this dog poop?" she repeated emphatically. "Why would I?" She says, "I see. This is what my council tax goes towards. Lazy workers who don't keep the streets clean. I'm going to be reporting you." And then here is where I remembered something I read on another IDontWorkHereLady post, and it was perfect. "Are you alright, dear?" I asked earnestly. "Do you need me to call someone to come pick you up?" "Yes, I'm fine," the Karen replied, her face screwing up in confusion. "Why are you going to call someone?" "Because you must either be senile, have dementia, or just be eternally stupid if you think a random person who just happens to be walking in the opposite direction is there to pick up poop off the pavement." "There's no need to be rude," the banshee snarled animalistically, coiling up to deliver the Karen strike. "You're right, I'm sorry. I'll just ring the care home to have someone swing by in the van and meet you." "I don't live in a care home. How dare you be rude to me?" It was at that point I just stepped around her and continued walking. Her tirade ceased momentarily as she stared at my back in awed confusion. Apparently, this Karen was not used to being ignored, and not having instant vindication for her Karening short-circuited her brain. The hamster in her head had apparently shrugged and decided to bail, leaving the proverbial hamster wheel spin idly. She flapped her mouth open and shut as I threw her a cheeky wave and went on my way. So that was my harrowing ordeal, my Karen in the wild. Probably not the most scintillating tale, but one that still brings a smile to my face. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably just uncultured. I didn't know what a trifle was, but now that I looked it up and it's like a dessert type thing, it doesn't seem that weird to get cereal in that. Anyways, yeah, I don't understand at all where this Karen was coming from. For all of you Karen experts out there, can you understand where they would be able to make the connection that OP was somehow somebody that was supposed to pick up that poo? If you can crack the code, let me know. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.